I was about to say the audio. Ah. It's overpowering. Can you mute it? Yeah, they're not gonna be able to hear you at all. Whatever music is coming through YouTube.
Open your eyes.
Yes. Yes, there is. I am positive because I am muting and unmuting your video. Normally I have you muted on Skype, on YouTube so that I can hear you over Skype. So when you're not muted on YouTube, I can hear this pounding music. And someone just said the music is hilarious. Techno. It matches the background quite nicely. And it's really loud. Hang on, guys. I don't think it was. I didn't notice it because I always have it muted on YouTube. Was there music in the last one? They're loving the LSD background. No, now it's gone. Okay. I don't remember it being a problem before, so... how does he sound, guys? Because I'm not listening to him on YouTube. I'm listening to him over Skype. Yeah, there's no sound now.
How's that? Better? Hooray for technical difficulties!
I think it's okay now.
Let me see what.
But again, I can hear you over Skype. Mute your Skype for a minute.
Mute my Skype. Yes, I'll do that. That's a good idea. Better?
Okay, I can hear you, but because I'm on Skype with you, it lowers the volume. And someone else is saying you're low too, so raise your volume.
My volume is all the way up. Unless I adjust the dial on my...
They're hearing more. They're hearing me more than they're hearing you.
What does this sound like? Hello, hello, hello?
And they're only hearing me. Some people are only hearing me.
Oh dear.
Shall I hang up and see if that makes a difference? Then call you back? You call me back, or I'll call you back?
Yes, let's try that.
The stream is stuttering, and
It may be because it's raining over here on my end.
Plus, you're still muted on Skype. Okay, so I'm hanging up on Skype and calling you back.
Okay. I'm turning up the volume on my phone here so I can hear what's going on. Waiting for that. Okay, it sounds like I can hear myself just fine here, so I'm turning this back down.
No one's hearing you. You are very, very quiet on stream.
No one's hearing me.
Home crew says they can hear you now.
All I can do is turn up my Yeti louder to the loudest that it can go. Is that better?
Is that better, guys? Because I've got him muted on YouTube because it's unreliable with Skype. They're still saying it's low. Super quiet. Why don't you try lowering my volume?
Wait a minute. Adding audio input capture. Is this okay? Mic. This is my Yeti, okay?
Okay, you got louder. Whatever you did.
Is it too loud?
Several people are bringing up the fact that while the background is cool and trippy and fun, it is causing some unreal lag on the video. They're saying, no, it's not too loud. But you guys can hear him, and I'm not blasting your eardrums.
I just turned it off, waiting for the lag to catch up on my end so we can see how that turns out. Looks a lot more fluid now, but now I'm just kind of floating in space here.
Maybe you should turn off the green screen effect.
Yeah, but that's boring. But we got the thing figured out. Okay, good.
So there's volume, which is important for a story time. And the lag is... I'm echoey.
Oh boy. That is because I have... I don't know. It's dangerous
Thank
to
you,
not
Fick.
be funded. Thank you. Lag has been cut down significantly. So, okay, I guess we're just having me sit in total darkness here.
Can you put a color but not a moving background behind you?
I will... see what I can do here. Something appropriately painful.
Fick, don't forget to get in your voice suggestion, since you funded, as you put it.
Oh, no, wait. I know something a bit more appropriate. Let's see. It is not a review that I'm doing here, but I think it's appropriate anyway. Blink. There we go. Oh, wow, I was so young back then.
No, don't have yourself sitting next to you when you were years and years younger.
Oh.
That's just gonna make you feel bad.
Let's see, what else can we do? Stand by while I look for an appropriate image here. First things first, let's get rid of this little shadow up here because it's bugging me. That should do it, I think. Because I got a whole bunch of shadows coming up, and that didn't work.
Oh my goodness.
What?
It went blue blotchy for a minute.
Oh, yes. Because the live green screen effects are strange. Alright, let's look for something else then.
Anthony Watson asks how we're dealing with the coronavirus.
We are keeping ourselves isolated like we're supposed to. That's about the extent of it.
Yes. I work in isolation anyway. I have a studio that I rent, and I'm pretty much staying away from people and only interacting with my kids.
Yeah, staying away from people is fun.
Unfortunately, Rob doesn't have that option because his other job, other than Bobsheaux, is delivering pizza. So he is washing his hands and trying not to touch his face and staying away from people as much as he can.
Yeah, but still gotta work. Still gotta make that money.
Yeah, they've cut his hours and tips are crap.
Yes.
Tip your delivery drivers, guys.
Yes, please. There we go.
Okay.
Big angry green face here. You ruined it, Ashanti.
We have 35 people in chat. 35 people watching.
And E. Garcia wants you to do a Bob Ross voice. Not me.
Me?
You.
Raven doesn't do voices. We've talked about this, guys. I don't do voice impressions.
Spoil sport. And hello, Felix. Nice to see you.
In all of the adjusting backgrounds and stuff, I may have missed some voices.
It looks like the background was trying to consume Bob.
No, don't go!
Uh-oh.
Are you coming back?
Yes, the K. Rule needs to leave to go tend to his cats. A very noble cause. Yes, Felix, Raven and I have both been very well, in spite of all this. Uh-oh, somebody wants Raven to sing.
Oh my goodness. I was singing before the stream went live.
Everything's
right.
gonna be alright.
Let me get my voice.
So, now that we finally got this show on the road, shall we get this show on the road?
Is Bob Smollow a voice suggestion? I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either.
Okay, well, I'm not going to... Maybe I should sing some more for real.
Maybe.
My tongue hasn't started working yet.
Oh, we can fix that right away.
Seriously, would you behave? This is a PG stream.
That's about as PG as I'm getting. Sabrina missed the last few streams because of work. Well, so happy that you could join us for this one. I've been seeing a lot of Gilbert Gottfried's, baby.
That's the same person. E. Garcia keeps asking you to combine Gilbert Gottfried with Herbert the Pervert.
Wait, what? Oh my god, combining them. What? No. That's just...
No. No. For some reason, Herbert the Pervert doesn't bother me. Don't pervert the pervert.
How would you even do that anyway? They're just so different.
I don't know nothing about no voices.
Ah, the other Raven wants Sean Connery.
Yes. My Raven sister.
Combining those two should be a crime against nature. That is absolutely right, St. Louis rocker. Got a good list going on, baby?
I'm getting it.
This is going to be a good one, I can tell.
Oh, yeah. Who's here in their pajamas? Raise your hand.
I can't
Raising my hand.
I can't raise mine because I had to be professional and put on some damn pants.
Yep. I'm not about that life.
Which should be a crime is that Bob's not wearing the troll suit.
I agree.
Maybe for the Trolls 2 review.
Trolls World Tour is going to be released on online streaming at the same time it's in the theaters. Another tiny little silver lining for the social distancing thing.
What theaters?
People are saying that maybe this is going to be the start of a new way of doing things.
Yeah.
Maybe this is going to be the new normal.
There has been talk for a while about doing away with movie theaters. But
I don't think we should do away with them because there are a lot of people that want that experience.
yes. Yes. It's one thing to just, watch riff tracks. But some of us have to go see as many live shows as possible. We need the theater for that. We need to be surrounded by other Misties and I don't know what you call riff tracks fans, but those people, we gotta get that in there.
Home Crew says quit smoking, Bob. Funny story. Funny story. First of all, I don't smoke cigarettes. I quit in 2007. But I do smoke marijuana, which is legal in my state. Thank you very much. It is now legal in Rob's state. And this time before this that I went to visit him, the first time I went to visit him, I should say, he tried to smoke marijuana. He is not a smoker. He does not know how to smoke. And that's okay. He doesn't need to know how to smoke. So this past time we tried edibles.
Because I can't inhale helium.
He does all the voices in the world, but he can't work helium.
All right, here we go. Okay, so this is what I sound like with a high-pitched helium voice. Damn it! Really?
I, too, am very excited for Trolls World Tour. Yes, we have seen Maleficent 2. We're not saying anything about it. That'll have to come later. Quit scratching your beard.
Oh, I'm saying something about it. Look.
Robert.
This is my saying something about it.
Robert.
Yes.
No. Raven is wearing a unicorn jumpsuit. You're my hero. Absolute humor. Absolute hero.
Absolute humorous hero.
Nope, she's a hero. Unicorn jumpsuit. I forgot who said it earlier, but they think Pajamagrams is having their best month yet.
Pajamagrams? What are those?
That's like you get a little note and a new set of pajamas from your significant other. Pajamagrams.
Okay. That's interesting.
Our movie theaters are still opening, but they're only doing are still open. We only have one in this little dingo town, but they're doing half capacity and they're changing times and everything. And I think it will only be a matter of days before it's closed down. Portland, where I'm not in Portland, Oregon, but they are considering a shelter-in-place order. And if Portland does that, then the whole state will end up doing that. And then I'm going to have to pack all this stuff up out of my studio and head home with it and work from home, which is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because my neighbors, I live in an apartment complex, and my upstairs neighbors are absolute frickin' demons. Their children are horrible brats, and the parents ain't much better.
You're doing your thing, and then all of a sudden... Not stomping upstairs. Full-blown tantrums.
Oh, there's also stomping.
Oh, well, yeah, but everyone's got to deal with that.
Yes, we have the throwing themselves in the floor and kicking and banging with their heels tantrum. We have the jumping up and down tantrum. We have the middle of the night stomping and slamming doors tantrum. That's from the parents. I mean, no lie. I can't even call her a mother. Upstairs, I have heard her performing exorcisms on her toddler.
Oh, jeez.
Praying the demon out because the child was misbehaving so badly. She is and I use this term very, very loosely, recovering drug addict. She's not recovering. She's actively using drugs.
Excuse me. There. I need to get something.
Okay, I'm going to get something too.
You're welcome.
I'm starting to get concerned.
For your neighbor kids?
No, for your jeans.
For my jeans.
You need smaller
yes.
ones. In all seriousness, Rob is doing really good on this keto thing. He's doing it all on his own. He came up with it on his own. I've helped him a little bit here and there, but he has lost a significant amount of weight and he's feeling good, and I'm very, very proud of him. But his jeans are getting baggy and I don't like it.
I figured with so many other people wearing their PJs, I should look the part myself.
Yes, but your AC's not on. You're going to be incredibly hot.
I thought I was already incredibly hot.
You are, baby. You know it. But take off the Bobsheaux jacket if you're going to wear the Trash Panda.
I am the Trash Panda, and I'm hot.
Oh, yeah, so hot.
I'm Trash Panda, yay. All right, here. Yeah, pajama party, here we go.
Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome, Claire.
Well,
Hey Raven, I based a sexy villain off of you called Plasma. She works off the villain Dr. Volt, like she comments on his evil plans saying we should stay focused on how she's not a licensed therapist. I love that!
Wait, what? Sorry?
Claire is basing a sexy villain off of me, named Plasma. And she works for Dr. Volt and comments on his evil plans saying we should stay focused, or she talks about how she's not a licensed therapist.
Yeah, Raven can play doctor with me all she wants.
You are bad today!
Are you saying I should stop with the bad?
No.
That's what I thought.
Yes, Bobsheaux, the hands of fate.
And the crappy shadows.
No, I don't want his jeans to rip, because it's like many bachelors, he would hate to buy clothes for himself before I came along. So I had to make him get rid of all of his ripped up clothes and actually go buy new clothes. So I don't want him in ripped jeans. I just liked it when his jeans were a little snugger, especially across the booty.
I do have to start doing squats.
Yes, that was our agreement. He can lose as much weight as he wants to. I will love him no matter what. Long hair, short hair, a little chubbier, a little thinner. Doesn't matter to me. I'm all good. But don't lose the ass.
Swoogity spooty, she loves that booty.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I just stopped writing and started reading. I'm sorry, guys.
The giant green Bob is trying to scare me. Giant green Bob. Shall we get started with the reading?
1 minute. Give me a second to catch up on some of these. I can't spell Michael. Some of these voices.
YouTube, you are such a baby.
I love Shigo. Yes, Mr. Critical. I love Shigo. I would totally do a Shigo. Not do the voice. I'm saying I would like play Shigo. I would do the voice of Shigo, but my voice, not try to imitate Shigo's voice. You know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean. What's the Shigo?
Why do I date you? She is the bad girl from Kim Possible.
You are dating me because you think that I've got a gorgeous ass.
I date you for a lot more reasons than that, but yeah, that's part of it.
Exactly.
He has a Cool Cat t-shirt, but no, that is the Hands of Fate t-shirt.
Yes, what we're looking at now is Meadows, the Hands of Fate. Or more accurately, the Meadows fan sequel, which sadly never happened. Shame too, because that was looking like it was going to be really good. Looks like I got purple hair, yes. I need to get myself a better webcam because this little thing's on.
What are you using? Are you using your webcam or are you using your regular camera?
This is my webcam.
Oh, okay.
Although earlier today I did find a handy little gadget that I might want to invest in that will actually hook up my camcorder to my computer. So definitely have to look into that when I can. And on that note, keep on tipping your pizza guys, people.
Yes, like I said, they have cut his hours. I gotta turn off my heater now. I'm a little overly warm.
Oh dear.
No problem.
The purple hair is fine. It's the purple eyes that are creeping me out.
I think purple eyes are pretty.
Purple eyes.
My oldest sister had violet eyes. Long, not quite that purple though. Yeah, that's a little creepy.
Whoa, just caught up to me. That is creepy. Can I adjust the color from here without having to turn off the stream? Hang on a sec. First of all, that helps with me.
Yes, your Trash Panda robe is purple too. What is going on with that?
This is just me trying to...
There's music?
There's music? What?
I don't hear any music, but Tom.
I hear no music either.
Oh, thanks a lot. Mara Cruz says right now millions of fans are imagining Raven wearing the Manos of Hands face shirt. Manos Hands of Face shirt is the hands.
Yes.
When I went to California, we went to the Weird Al concert.
Uh-huh.
I wore a dress in honor of because I'm tacky video where I forgot her name, but she has this really cool tank top that has handprints over the
Kristen Shaw, I think was her name.
Yeah. I Rob and I cut out hands and put them on my chest and on my butt. So I'm wearing this dress, which was way too long, so I pinned it up so it'd be shorter and show off my legs. And then I had cloth hands that had been pinned over my good bits.
And we were the only tacky people there. I'm sorry, baby. I don't see
Raven, you do grocery delivery? You are a hero. You are a hero. All delivery drivers are heroes. Especially right now. It's like truck drivers, grocery store employees. I mean, of course, people working in medical facilities, they're always heroes.
Yeah.
But now we're realizing just how important it is, how important those people who stock our grocery stores and who deliver our food and all that stuff are, especially to our door, really are. And after this is all over, we all need to make an effort to make sure that they are being paid a living wage. Minimum wage is not minimum for anything. You can't even survive on two full-time minimum wage incomes for a family. It's not enough. So. Archer Slam Bam says, I've been mulling an idea over in my head as well, making a Cyber Kitties reboot comic and actually trying to make it half decent. I do have enough voices to get started, and I will try to focus and actually remember to write down voices.
Okay. How am I looking?
What is the name of the mouse from Dumbo?
Timothy.
Timothy, okay.
And I know I already reviewed Tim Burton's Dumbo, but I gotta throw this out there. How do you do Dumbo, hire Danny DeVito, but have him not play Timothy? He sounds just like him. Come on.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I have not seen Tim Burton's Dumbo because When it came out, I was just not able to handle the sad. So I haven't seen it yet. But I want to see it.
Yes, so we can see all of the wonderful acting coming from the little girl who wants to not be in the circus.
I saw enough of it to know that that was dumb. Is Angel Dust a wrestler? I don't think he knows it. And no SpongeBob.
Angel Dust is a character from Has-Been Hotel, which I have only seen once, and I do not have a grasp on their voices yet.
Okay.
Forgive me.
I will go ahead and just cross that right off.
Oh, baby, I'm sorry. King Gabe has requested Erik Estrada.
Oh, my heart. I don't know if I can take it. For those of you that don't know, Little Bitty Raven, me, Little Bitty Raven, that was my first ever crush. Was Paunch on Chips, played by Erik Estrada. I used to sneak up, I think it was on Wednesday nights or Thursday nights or whatever, and I would sneak into my parents' game room, which had a door that they shared with the living room where they would be watching Chips. And I would hide in the doorway, and I'd found out years later that they always knew I was there. Except the time that I snuck up and watched Blue Lagoon. They didn't know I was there then.
Naughty.
Ugh. The naughty bits didn't bother me. It was the spider coming out of the dude's mouth that gave me nightmares. But anyway, I had such a crush on Paunch that I named my dog Paunch, or at least that's what I was trying to do. But I said it wrong. So our dog's name was Punch, and my mom thought that it was for Punch and Judy, even though I had no idea what Punch and Judy was. It's an old puppet show or something? I'm really not sure.
Yes. Just a couple of hand puppets smacking the crap out of each other.
Trollmaster would like to know, will the movies that didn't get chosen in the monthly Patreon vote be reviewed in the future?
Possibly. That's all I can say. There are a lot
He has done that.
Yes. Yes, there was a point when I believe it was Feliday that used to be on the docket alongside Cool Cat. But Cool Cat got reviewed. Feliday got tabled until it didn't. So all we can say is keep your eyes peeled because we just never know. And here we are talking about Erik Estrada being Raven's first crush. My first crush was Julie Newmar's Catwoman. Yay, I'm a little tiny Bobsheaux, and I'm gonna go watch Batman. Oh my goodness.
Bobsheaux hit puberty in that moment.
Everybody hit puberty in that moment. Alright, shall we get started?
Yes.
Excellent. We are now continuing with Chapter 8 of The Wizard of Oz. Which, again, I have to point out looks really weird with the green screen effects. Whoa. You can see through it.
I seem to remember something about there being a lot of violence in Punch and Judy. What little bit I know about, I remember something about the puppets hitting each other.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to name him Paunch after my crush.
Alright, so what do we got first?
First is Master Panda from The Prodigy.
Oh dear. Chapter 8, The Deadly Poppy Field. Our little party of travelers awakened the next morning, refreshed and full of hope, and Dorothy breakfasted like a princess of peaches and plums from the trees beside the river.
That sounds so racist.
Exactly. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah. Behind them was the dark forest they had passed safely through, although they had suffered many discouragements. But before them was a lovely sunny country that seemed to beckon them on to the Emerald City. I'm going to hell! Oh,
Yes,
we
you are. Shame.
Next.
Quick answer to the question. Yes, all of my family is doing fine. My eldest child, who works for one of Nintendo call centers, is about to be able to work from home. So
Oh.
they are very excited to be able to stay home and on the clock, be in their pajamas and smoke weed. So they're very happy about that. And the rest of us are just all staying home.
But remember, the point is to still work, Raven's oldest. Let's do that.
Hey, whatever they'll manage.
I'm just saying.
They have kept their first job much longer than I kept my first job, so I really cannot judge.
Fair enough. Excuse me. What we got next?
First, how are all your family doing? Because I wasn't sure.
Hard to say how my family is doing, exactly. But they aren't affected by the virus at all. So they're healthy, they're safe. I think my sister-in-law is going a little bit stir-crazy because she's usually spending all hours of the day at school. She's a band teacher. And now she...
Yes, almost all of his family are teachers.
Yes. And now she's stuck at home raising my 3 rambunctious little nephews. Which is usually Black Lantern Dave's job. He knows how to take it in stride, but it's kind of new for her, being stuck indoors all day with them. But they're making do. The point is, nobody's sick, and that is great. And we're all doing our best to keep our heads.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, it's not like we're going to do any Shining reenactments anytime soon.
I don't know. Those little boys are no joke. They're adorable. Don't get me wrong. His nephews are adorable. But, they're little boys. I had one. I know how rambunctious they can be, and that's times 3. Because they're all very close in age.
Yes, boys will be boys, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I hate that term.
But you just said it.
No, seriously, people use it to excuse bad behavior.
That is wrong.
I think it's more kids will be kids. Although
Okay, yeah, let's say that.
my female kid was a lot easier to deal with at that age, but my male kid is a lot easier to deal with as a teenager than the female kid was. Oh my God. There should be a place you can send teenage girls to, and you get them back when they're an adult, because they're not fit for human company.
Finishing school? That's a thing.
They'd have finished them.
Anyway,
okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. Combo from Cars Life.
Oh, Lord. We're really bringing out the crap movies today, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
To be sure, the broad river now cut them off from this beautiful land. Well, I never did a combo before, but I think we did pretty good. But the raft was nearly gone, and after the Tin Woodman had cut a few more logs and fastened them together with wooden pins, they were ready to start. Dorothy sat down in the middle of the raft and held Toto in her arms. When the Cowardly Lion stepped upon the raft and tipped badly, for he was big and heavy, but the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman stood upon the other end to steady it, and they had long poles in their hands to push the raft through the water. And because they're on a raft in the middle of the water, I gotta make a motorboating noise.
Okay.
He has a thing for headlights.
You did?
Sorry?
You did have to make that noise?
Yes.
I don't think you did.
Yes, I did. It's one of my jokes. Anyway, next voice. Go.
Dr. Robotnik, Jim Cummings.
They got along quite well at first, but when they reached the middle of the river, the swift current swept the raft downstream, farther and farther away from the yellow brick road. And the water grew so deep that the long poles would not touch the bottom. "This is bad," said the Tin Woodman, "for if we cannot get to the land, we shall be carried into the country of the Wicked Witch of the West, and she will enchant us and make us her slaves." That's very good indeed.
I like that one.
What we got next?
Let's add a little racism. Do Mr. T. You guys are the worst. You make him do these voices and he does them and it sounds terrible. Coming out of his very Caucasian mouth. I apologize. This is what you wanted. This is what you asked for.
Do they sound terrible? Or do
No, they sound really good, but they're horrible stereotypes.
"And then I should get no brains, sucker," said the Scarecrow. "And I should get no courage, foo," said the Cowardly Lion. "And I should get no heart," said the Tin Woodman. "And I should never get back to Kansas," said Dorothy. "Ain't time for no jibber jabber, foo."
Oh my God, no.
"I ain't getting on no raft." Next.
Speedy from Cars Life.
Speedy from Cars Life. Which one was Speedy?
The main character.
The main character, okay.
I'm sorry. Just a good suggestion. Thank you, Super Disney fan.
I will not ask what it was. I will have you surprise me with that one later.
Oh, I will. It's there.
Oh, it's there, huh?
It's going down on the list.
Okay,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let's try Speedy here.
Sorry.
"We must certainly get to the Emerald City if we can," the Scarecrow continued, and he pushed so hard on his long pole that it stuck fast in the mud at the bottom of the river, and before he could pull it out again or let go, the raft was swept away and the poor Scarecrow left clinging to the pole on the middle of the river. "Goodbye," he called after them. But they were so sorry to leave him indeed, the Tin Woodman began to cry, but unfortunately remembered that he might rust, and so dried his tears upon Dorothy's apron. Oh, here, just let me borrow this here. There we go. Thanks, Dorothy. Next.
Vincent Price.
Of course, this was a bad thing for the Scarecrow. "I am now worse off than when I first met Dorothy," he thought. Then I was stuck on a pole in a cornfield where I could make believe scare the crows, at any rate. But surely there's no use for a Scarecrow stuck on a pole in the middle of a river. I'm afraid I shall never have brains after all. Next.
He doesn't know Gravity Falls, guys, so I can't do that voice suggestion. Next is Teen Titans Raven.
Down the stream the raft floated, and the poor Scarecrow was left far behind. Then the lion said, "Something must be done to save us. I think I can swim to the shore and pull the raft after me, if you'll only hold fast the tip of my tail." Oh yeah, you do that, lion. Next.
Herbert the Pervert.
So he sprang into the water, and the Tin Woodman caught fast on his tail. When the lion began to swim with all his might toward the shore, it was hard work, although he was so big. But by and by, they were drawn out of the current, and then Dorothy took the Tin Woodsman's long pole and helped push the raft to the land. Oh,
You're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
Sweet Jesus.
No, I told you the wrong person.
Oh.
Yes, Speedy was the one on meth. Speedy was the girl. Sparky was the main character.
Sparky was the main character. Right.
So you're going to have to do Speedy.
I'm going to have to do Speedy.
Oh, God. Everybody brace your eardrums.
They were all tired out when they reached the shore at last and stepped off upon the pretty green grass.
Oh my God.
And they also knew that the stream had carried them a long up this page real quick and then call it at that. What shall we do now? Asked the Tin Woodman as the lion lay down on the grass to let the sun shine him. We must get back on the road in some way, said Dorothy. The best plan will be to walk along the riverbank until we come to the road again, remarked the lion.
Ugh. Too good. He doesn't know Bob's Burgers. Oh, the next voice, right?
Yes.
How's your Weird Al?
Pass.
Yeah, I thought so. Sean Connery. Oh, no, we need to save Sean Connery for after you do something horrible. And Captain Jack, too.
And Captain Jack, yes.
Do Ian McKellen's The Wizard?
I don't know his The Wizard.
Can you do an Ian McKellen?
I was going to say, is it Gandalf that we're talking about?
Maybe. I wrote it down a long time ago, so I don't know.
So when they were rested, Dorothy picked up her basket and they started along the grassy bank, back to the road from which the river had carried them. It was a lovely country with plenty of flowers and fruit trees and sunshine to cheer them, and had they not felt so sorry for the poor Scarecrow, they could have been very happy. They walked along as fast as they could, Dorothy only stopping once to pick a beautiful flower. And after a time, the Tin Woodman cried out, "Look!" Next.
Oh, next. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna have to write on the back. Okay. Doop doop doo doop doo. Stewie Griffin.
Doop doop doing. Then they all looked at the river and saw the Scarecrow perched upon his pole in the middle of the water, looking very lonely and sad. "What can we do to save him?" asked Dorothy. The Lion and the Woodman both shook their heads, for they did not know. So they sat down upon the bank and gazed wistfully at the Scarecrow until a stork flew by, which, seeing them, stopped to rest at the water's edge. "Who the deuce are you, and where are you going?" asked the stork. Next.
Next is Michael Caine.
"I'm Dorothy," answered the girl, "and these are my friends, the Tin Woodman and the Cowardly Lion, and we are going to the Emerald City." "This isn't the road," said the stork, as she twisted her long neck and looked sharply at the queer party. "I know it," returned Dorothy, "but we have lost the Scarecrow, and we're wondering how we shall get him again." Next.
Christopher Plummer? I feel like I should know that name.
Pass.
Yes. Okay. Who is Christopher Plummer?
He is an actor who has been in everything for decades.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what you might know him from. Do you remember Star Crash on MST3K?
No.
No. He was in that. Okay, moving on.
Okay, so next, Mickey Mouse.
"Where is he?" asked the stork. "Over there in the river," asked the girl. "If he wasn't so big and scary, I would get him for you," remarked the stork. "But he isn't... big and heavy, I meant to say. I can't read for crap. But he isn't that heavy," said Dorothy. "For he is stuffed with straw, and if you bring him over to us, we shall thank you ever so much." "Well, I'll try," said the stork. But if he is too heavy, to carry, I shall have to drop him in the river again." Next.
Just to update you, Christopher Plummer did Henry from An American Tail and the Grand Duke of Owls from Rockadoodle. Neither of which I remember, but... And also was the father from Sound of Music.
I remember that he was in Rockadoodle, yes, but Henry from An American Tail, the pigeon who was aiding in the construction of Lady Liberty?
I don't remember.
I cannot place that voice coming out of Christopher Plummer. Huh.
If you guys want a character like Batman that's been done by a gazillion different people, It helps if you choose the actor,
Yes.
because there are very distinctive voices. Which Joker, which Batman, that kind of thing.
Yes, that is a huge help.
Okay. The next voice will be Timothy from Dumbo.
Oh boy. So the big boy flew into the air and over the water till she came to where the Scarecrow was pushed upon his pole. Then the stork with the higher claws grabbed the Scarecrow up by the arm and carried him up into the air and back to the bank, where Dorothy and the Lion and the Tin Woodman and Toto were sitting. When the Scarecrow found himself among his friends again, he was so happy that he hugged them all, even the Lion and Toto. And as they walked along, he sang, "Tolde Radio." At every step, he felt so gay. Well, thank you for that, book. I was so
Gay had a different meaning back then.
I was so afraid I should have to stay in the river forever, he said. But the kind stork saved me, and if I ever get any brains, I shall find the stork again and do it some kindness in return. Yeah, I'll bet you will. Next.
Next is, do you know Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik?
Not particularly. I haven't seen the Sonic movie yet, so all I know is the trailers, and he just sounds like Jim Carrey to me.
Okay, well, do a Jim Carrey then.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't do his Robotnik just yet. Why? Nobody cares! That's all right, said the stork, who was flying along beside them. I always like to help anyone in trouble. But I must go now, for my babies are waiting in the nest for me. I hope you'll find the Emerald City, and that Oz will help you. Alrighty then. Next.
Yosemite Sam.
"Oh, thank you," replied Dorothy. And then the kind stork flew high into the air and was soon out of sight. They walked along listening to the singing of the bright-colored birds as they looked at the lovely flowers, which now became so thick that the ground was carpeted with them. Daggone it. There are big yellow, white, and blue and purple blossoms, beside great clusters of scarlet poppies, which were so brilliant in color that they almost dazzled Dorothy's eyes. "Aren't they beautiful?" the girl asked, as she breathed in the spicy scent of the flowers.
Go away, notifications. You're covering up the chat screen. I don't want to look at Zinni optical stuff right now.
I'm gonna hog-tie them poppies, daggone it. What we got next?
Erik Estrada.
I'm sorry. "Wow, these flowers are so beautiful," answered the Scarecrow. "When I have braids, I shall probably like them better. If only I had a heart, I should love them," said the Tin Woodman. "I always did like flowers," said the Lion. "They seem so helpless and frail, but there are none in the forest so bright as these." There they is.
I can't deny it. I don't know why I had such a crush on him. I like darker coloring on guys, I guess, and he had nice shoulders. I don't know. I was little. It wasn't for his personality. I know that.
Ouch.
Well, isn't he kind of an asshole? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. There he is.
Yeah, there he goes.
Homer Simpson.
They now came upon more and more of the big scarlet poppies, and fewer of the other flowers, and soon they found themselves in the midst of a great meadow of poppies. Now it is well known that when there are many of these flowers together, their odor is so powerful that anyone who breathes it falls asleep. Yellow.
I wish you snored that quietly.
Hate you.
No, you don't.
Maybe. Yes, I'm a very heavy snorer, and I still somehow wake up very bright and easily in the morning. Says my alarm.
Yes, I call him Snow White. Wakes up with the sound of birds twittering and
Good morning.
all perky and crap.
And what's your alarm, baby?
My alarm is an air raid siren.
Yes. A little demonstration, please.
No. Hang on.
While we're on the subject.
Alright, guys. This is the alarm that I sleep through regularly.
And I'm waking up bright early to my alarm before this. Raven, wake up, darling. It's time to... How?
I don't know.
How do you sleep through that?
I whack my phone. I'm surprised I haven't broken my phone from whacking it to turn it off.
Really?
But see, this phone, this new phone that I have, you can't just whack. You can't just press it. You have to slide it, which is more difficult when you're not waking. When you're not awake. I don't like it. It doesn't mean I'm waking up anymore. But...
I was gonna say you're still somehow managing to turn it off, so it's not that bad. No, off.
What's the BPRD?
Hmm?
Elizabeth Atheno says, "Dang, Raven, where do you live? The BPRD?" Yes, I sleep through that regularly, Dominique.
Don't know what the BPRD is, so I can't laugh at the joke, but yes, she sleeps through that all the time. It's crazy.
I'm a heavy sleeper.
Yes, you are.
Okay, the next voice is Bela Lugosi.
But Dorothy did not know this, nor could she get away from the bright red flowers that were everywhere about. So presently, her eyes grew heavy, and she felt that she must sit down to rest and to sleep. But the Tin Woodman would not let her do this. "They must hurry and get back to the road of yellow brick before dark," he said, and the Scarecrow agreed with him. So they kept walking until Dorothy could stand no longer. Her eyes closed in spite of herself, and she forgot where she was and fell asleep among the poppies, fast asleep. Next.
Nice. Elizabeth has answered. It is the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense where Hellboy lives.
Aha! I was going to say, that acronym sounds familiar. Why am I not placing it anywhere? But, yeah, Hellboy. There you go.
No voices from Channel Awesome.
Sorry.
That's okay. Don't apologize for that. For having integrity.
There you go.
Moving on. The next voice.
The rest of the world has.
I think it's time for one of the.
Which one?
The first one that was suggested. Gilbert god-awful voice.
But hey, that's actually good in the context of the story, because Dorothy just fell asleep. How do you wake her up? "What shall we do?" asked the Tin Woodman. "If we leave her here, she will die," said the Lion. "The smell of the flowers is killing us all. I myself can scarcely keep my eyes open, and the dog is already asleep." It was true. Toto had fallen down beside his little mistress. But the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman, not being made of flesh, were not troubled by the scent of the flowers.
Ugh. My headache, it was just going away.
I love you.
I don't.
I kind of do.
Mm-mm.
So what'll it be to watch the taste of that voice out of your head?
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
I saved it.
Yes, you did. Kind of save that.
He
card.
has so little experience with the Harry Potter movies. He can't do the voices of the characters, guys. I don't know why I date him. I really don't. I love Harry Potter.
Because I have a nice ass and I have a big... Anyway.
A big brain. Read on.
Yes. We'll say that, shall we?
Yes, we shall. In this stream that probably has children in it.
Anyway.
Behave. He is terrible today.
You love me.
Maybe.
We'll confirm that later, won't we?
Would you read?
Run fast, said the Scarecrow to the lion, and get out of this deadly flower bed as soon as you can. We will bring the little girl with us, but if you should fall asleep, you are too big to be carried. So the lion aroused himself and bounded forward as fast as he could. In a moment, he was out of sight. Let us make a chair with our hands and carry her, said the Scarecrow. So they picked up Toto and put the little dog in Dorothy's lap, and they made a chair with their hands for the seat and their arms for the arms, and carried the sleeping girl between them and through the flowers. Next.
Next is The Cowardly Lion from 1939's Wizard of Oz.
On and on they walked, and it seemed that the great carpet of deadly flowers that surrounded them would never end. They followed the bend of the river, and at last came upon their friend the lion, lying fast asleep among the poppies. Oh no, he fell asleep! The flowers had been too strong for the huge beast, and he had given up at last, and fallen only a short distance from the end of the poppy bed, where the sweet grass spread in beautiful green fields before them. Green fields scare me.
Okay, I don't know what this is. This was just, and I don't want to write it down, so I'm just going to say it. Do this now if you're able to. If not, we'll move on.
Okay.
Do the Monty Python man who says the beginning of sentences, the man who says the middle of sentences, and the man who does the end of sentences. I know nothing of Monty Python, so I don't know what that is.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't want to write it down.
I am familiar with the bits from which that suggestion comes, but not enough to do it, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, that's just barely over my head. What's the next one?
The next one is The French Taunter. I think that's also from Monty Python, is it not?
Yes, and the Holy Grail in particular.
I know nothing of Monty Python.
Why do I date you?
I'm not answering that because I'm keeping the stream family friendly.
Boo.
Family approved!
Family approved! You are such a sport. I love you.
You better.
We can do nothing for him, said the Tin Woodman sadly, for he is much too heavy to lift. We must leave him here to sleep on forever, and perhaps he will dream that he has found courage at last. I am sorry, said the Scarecrow. The lion was very good comrade for one so cowardly, but let us move on. They carried the sleeping girl to a pretty spot behind the river, far enough from the poppy field to prevent her from breathing any more of the poison of the flowers, and here they led her gently on the soft grass and waited for the fresh breeze to awaken her. Those silly English niggets. What a strange person. Moving on to Chapter 9, The Queen of the Field Mice. Next.
Waluigi.
We cannot be far from the road of yellow brick now, remarked the Scarecrow, as he stood beside the girl, for we now have come clearly as far as the river carried us away. The Tin Woodman was about to reply when he heard a low growl, and turning his head, which worked beautifully on hinges, thank you for that little notebook, he saw a strange beast come bounding over the grass toward them. It was indeed a great yellow wildcat, and the woodman thought it must be chasing something, for its ears were lying close to its head, and its mouth was wide open, showing 2 rows of ugly teeth, while its red eyes glowed like balls of fire. As it came nearer, the Tin Woodman saw that running before the beast was a little gray field mouse, and although he had no heart, he knew it was wrong for the wildcat to try to kill such a pretty, harmless creature. And because it was wrong, the Tin Woodman put a stop to him and disrupted the circle of life. Nice one.
Yzma.
So the woodman raised his axe, and as the wildcat ran by, he gave it a quick blow that cut off the beast's head clean from its body, and it rolled at his feet in 2 pieces. The field mouse, now that it was freed from its enemy, stopped short, and coming slowly up to the Tin Woodman, said in a squeaky little voice, "Oh, thank you. Thank you ever so much for saving my life." Perfect. Next.
Benny the Cab from Who Saved Roger Rabbit.
Pass.
Glinda the Good Witch.
Very appropriate. "Don't speak of it, I beg you," replied the woodman. "I have no heart, you know, so I am careful to help all those who may need a friend, even if it happens to be only a mouse." "Only a mouse?" cried the little animal in dignity. "Why, I am the queen of the field mice." "Oh, indeed," said the woodman, making a bow. Okay, thanks. "Oh, the queen of the field mice. Excuse me." Next.
Principal Skinner.
"Therefore, you have done a great deed, as well as a brave one, in saving my life," added the queen. At that moment, several mice were seen running up as fast as their little legs could carry them, and when they saw their queen, they exclaimed, "Oh, your Majesty Chalmers! We thought that you would be killed. How did you manage to escape the great wildcat?" And they all bowed so low that their little queen, that they almost, or they bowed so low to their little queen that they almost stood upon their heads. This funny Tin Man," she answered, "killed the wildcat and saved my life. So hereafter, you must all serve him and obey his slightest wish. And serve him steamed hams." Next.
Paul Frees.
Paul Frees did a whole variety of voices back in his day. I will therefore do my favorite voice of his, the ghost host from the Haunted Mansion. "We will," cried all the mice in shrill chorus, and then they scampered in all directions, for Toto had awakened from his sleep, and seeing all these mice around him, he gave one bark of delight and jumped right into the middle of the group. Toto had always loved to chase mice when he lived in Kansas, and he saw no harm in it. But the Tin Woodman caught the dog in his arms and held him tight, while he called to the mice, "Come back, come back. Toto shall not hurt you." Next.
The priest from Princess Bride.
At this, the queen of the mice stuck her head out of a clump of grass and asked in a timid voice, "Are you sure he will not bite us?" "I will not let him," said the woodman, "so do not be afraid." One by one, the mice came creeping back, and Toto did not balk again, although he tried to get out of the woodman's arms, and would have bitten him had he not known very well that he was made of tin. Finally, one of the biggest mice spoke. Next.
George Costanza from Seinfeld.
Pass.
Andy Rooney.
Sorry, it took a minute to remember. Andy Rooney. I know that voice. Who is he? Oh, it's that guy. "Is there anything we can do," it asked, "to repay you for saving the life of our queen?" "Nothing that I know of," answered the woodman. But the Scarecrow, who had been trying to think but could not because his head was stuffed with straw, said quickly, "Oh yes, you can save our friend, the Cowardly Lion, who is asleep in the poppy bed." Now, why do they call it a poppy bed, anyway? It's not like these poppies are growing out of a mattress. They're growing clearly in a little field. Why not just call it a poppy field? That is, after all, what they called it in the last chapter, didn't they? Thank you.
Very good. Hang on just a second. Samurai Jack is anime, right?
Samurai Jack is not anime, but it is a cartoon of which I am unfamiliar. Or with which I'm unfamiliar. So, sorry, pass.
Okay. Oh, here's one of my favorites. Jar Jar Binks.
I was going to say, do you not want to save it for later? But no, this is not one of those voices.
That's not one of those voices, right? It's not a palate cleanser voice.
Ah! A lion! Cried the little queen. Why, he would eat us all up! Ah! Oh, no, sir, declared the Scarecrow. The lion is a coward. Really? Asked the mouse. He says so himself, answered the Scarecrow. And he would never hurt anyone who is afraid, no, sir. I feel dirty doing this voice. This is the really racist one.
It's not.
If you say
Leave Jar Jar alone.
Leave Jar Jar alone.
Exactly.
If you shall help us to save him, I promise you that he shall treat you all with kindness. Okie day?
I love Jar Jar.
You and George
Hans
Lucas.
Gruber. Hans Gruber.
I know that name.
I don't... is it something from the Swan Princess?
I don't think so. Pass. Sorry.
Sorry, guys. I can't remember it either. It sounds familiar.
It does.
George Takei.
Very well then, said the queen. We will trust you. But what shall we do? Are there many of these mice which call you queen and are willing to obey you? Oh yes, there are thousands, she replied. Then send them all to come here as soon as possible, and let each one bring a long piece of string. The queen turned to the mice and that attended her, and told them to go at once and get all her people. As soon as they heard her orders, they ran away in every direction as fast as possible. Oh my.
I love him.
Next.
Oh, God.
Oh, what?
Cool cat. Blah. What?
I'm sorry, but earlier you made a very poignant observation that one cannot simply suggest that I do Batman or Joker. It helps that I have the name of a particular actor who played them, because Cesar Romero is not the same thing as Jack Nicholson. Adam West is not Christian Bale. The same must now apply to Cool Cat, mustn't it? Because there's two of them.
Oh, no.
Yes.
You're going to make it even worse, aren't you?
I could.
Oh, Hans Gruber was played by Alan Rickman in something.
Hans Gruber was the
Die
bad guy
Hard!
from Die Hard.
Die Hard, yes!
Who I do
We miss
not
you,
remember
Alan.
how he sounded in that. So we will just...
But after he does his Cool Cat, he'll do a different Alan Rickman.
I was going to say we'll have to hang on to Alan Rickman for a different point, because we've got one of two cool cats to do. Which will it be?
Well, I'm, for one, am kind of interested, I won't say excited, kind of interested in hearing your new Cool Cat voice.
I will give it a whirl. Let's see, where were we? Yes, the mice had just all ran away in all directions. Now, said the Scarecrow to the Tin Woodman, you must go to those trees over by the riverside and make a truck that will carry the lion. So the Woodman went at once to the trees and began to work, and he soon made a truck out of the limbs of the trees, from which he chopped away all the leaves and branches. He fastened it together with wooden pegs and made 4 wheels out of the short pieces of a big tree trunk. And so fast and so well did he work that by the time the mice began to arrive, the truck was all ready for them. God bless.
Oh my God! You just went straight into Daddy Derek.
It's Daddy Derek with a higher voice. Yes. That's his cool cat now.
Oh. All right, let's have some Alan Rickman and something else.
Yes. They came from all directions, and there were thousands of them. Big mice and little mice and middle-sized mice, and each brought a piece of string in his mouth. It was about this time that Dorothy woke from her long sleep and opened her eyes. She was greatly astonished to find herself lying upon the grass, with thousands of mice standing around and looking at her timidly. But the Scarecrow told her about everything, and turned to the dignified little mouse and said, "Permit me to introduce to you Her Majesty, the Queen." Dorothy nodded gravely, and the Queen made a curtsy, after which she became quite friendly with the little girl. How pleasant.
We miss you, Alan Rickman.
Yes, we do. Next.
The Emerald City Guard from original Wizard of Oz.
The Scarecrow and the Woodman now began to fasten the mice to the truck, using the strings they had brought. One end of the string was tied around the neck of each mouse, and the other end to the truck. Of course, the truck was 1,000 times bigger than any of the mice who were to draw it, but when the mice had been harnessed, they were able to pull it quite easily. Even the Scarecrow and Tin Woodman could sit on it, and they were drawn swiftly by the queer little horses to the place where they... queer little horses? They're mice. To the place where the lion lay asleep. After a great deal of hard work, for the lion was heavy, and they managed to get him on the truck. Then the Queen hurriedly gave her people the order to start, for she feared that if the mice stayed among the poppies too long, they also would fall asleep. I would think they'd fall asleep faster. And I gotta point this out. We have this illustration where the Queen of the Field Mice is flanked by the Cheshire Cat. What's he doing here? Weird.
Why is all your white purple?
Because my webcam is dumb.
Ah, okay.
This is the best I can do. Unless I want to make it some other color. Let me see.
Nah, that's okay. It's not that big a deal. I was just curious.
Yeah. Go into my color correction. Change the hue shift. I can go into a blue, like this. Now I'm kind of a green. Now I'm yellow with a purple face, or blue face. And there we go. Ah, no! Yes.
Now you match the title card behind you.
Oh, do I? Yeah, best I can do is this, which makes my face look less red, but it makes everything else look purple, so there we go. So, we are stuck with my weird color scheme that I got going on here. Sorry.
It's alright.
It's alright.
The next voice is Jiminy Cricket.
At first, the little creatures, though many they were, could hardly stir the heavily loaded truck, but the Woodman and the Scarecrow both pushed from behind, and they got along better. Soon they rolled along the lion out of the poppy field back to the green fields, where he could breathe the sweet fresh air again, instead of the poisonous scent of the flowers. Dorothy came to meet him, and thanked the little mice warmly for saving her companion from death. She had grown so fond of the big lion, she was glad that he had been rescued. Next.
Petrie. Land Before Time.
Pass. Yes.
Beavis and Butthead.
Don't worry, we've only got this little last little tiny paragraph at the end of this chapter here. So, it'll be quick. The mice were unharnessed from the truck and, like, scampered away through the grass to their homes and stuff. Then the queen of the mice was last to leave.
That one's worse.
Just come out. Just come out to the field and call us and stuff, and we shall, like, hear you and come to your assistance. Goodbye. Goodbye, they all answered, and away the queen ran, while Dorothy held Toto tightly lest he should run after her and frighten her. This is stupid. After this, they sat down beside the lion until he should awaken, and the Scarecrow brought Dorothy some fruit and stuff, which she ate for her dinner. That's pretty cool. Alright, we're moving on to Chapter X, The Guardian of the Gate.
Chapter X?
Yes.
Would that be Chapter 10?
It might be. Shut up, you don't know.
I think I know. Oh,
right,
Pingo!
God, I hate you all. It was some time before the cowardly lion awakened, for he had lain among the poppies for a long while, breathing in their deadly fragrance, but when he did open his eyes and roll off the truck, he was very glad to find himself alive. I ran as fast as I could, he said, sitting down and yawning, but the flowers were too strong for me. How did you get me out? Honey, you were out a long time ago.
Oh, shame on you.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Honest John from Pinocchio.
Then they told him of the mice field, and how they had generously saved him from death. And the cowardly lion laughed and said, I have always thought myself very big and terrible. Yet such small things as flowers came near killing me, and such small animals as mice have saved my life. How strange it all is. But comrades, what shall we do now? Not sure if that worked, but there you go. Next.
Leonard Nimoy's Galvatron. Always a good choice. Always a good choice.
Oh, yes. We must journey on until we find the road of the yellow brick again, said Dorothy. And then we can keep on to the Emerald City. To Cybertron! So the lion, being fully refreshed and feeling quite himself again, they all started upon the journey, greatly enjoying the walk through the soft, fresh grass. Yes, Galvatron loves soft, fresh grass.
To answer your question, Moonbeam, no, Beavis and Butthead doesn't drive me to drink. It drives me to stick a hot poker in my eardrum. They heard me pouring my seltzer. Okay. Oh, it's time for the good one.
What's the good one?
The next voice is Maleficent.
Oh, yeah. Big smile, because that's what Maleficent wears, apparently. The road was smooth and well paved now, and the country was about as beautiful, so that the travelers rejoiced in leaving the forest far behind, and with the many dangers they had met in these gloomy shades. Once more, they could see fences built beside the road, but these were painted green, and when they came to a small house in which a farmer evidently lived, that was also painted green. People came to the doors and looked out at them as if they would like to ask questions, but no one came near them nor spoke to them because of the great lion, of which they were very much afraid. The people were all dressed in clothing of a lovely emerald green color and wore peaked hats like those of the Munchkins. And we're stopping because,
Doesn't that sound intimidating?
Oh, yes.
Stealing candy from baby's mouth.
Don't you want to be evil like me?
I'm back!
I'm back!
Okay, you need another voice.
Why?
Kronk.
Okay, fine. You couldn't get Angelina Jolie to be in this stupid little Disney Channel movie. She's too big for you. Fine. I get it. You don't hire someone who's shorter than their daughter!
And talks like this.
And talks like this, because this is so Maleficent, really it is. Sorry, who did you say was the next voice going to be?
I forgot myself. Kronk.
Kronk, that's right. This must be the land of Oz, said Dorothy, and we're surely getting near the Emerald City. Yes, answered the Scarecrow. Everything is green here. While in the country of the Munchkins, blue was the favorite color. But the people do not seem to be as friendly as the Munchkins, and I'm afraid we shall be unable to find a place to pass the night. I should like something to eat besides fruit, said the girl, and I'm sure Toto was nearly starved. Let us stop at the next house and talk to the people. Next.
Bridget from the Swan Princess.
Oh boy. So when they came to a good-sized farmhouse, Dorothy walked boldly up to a door and knocked. A woman opened it just far enough to look out and said, "What do you want, child? And why is that great Nazi lion with you?" Yes, I had to call it that. Shut up. Next.
Next is Snively from Sonic Sat-Am.
Pass.
Watto.
We wish to pass the night with you, if you will allow us, answered Dorothy. Yes, this voice is coming from Dorothy. Think about that. And the lion there is my friend and comrade, and would like to not hurt you for the world. Is it time? Asked the woman, opening the door a little wider. Oh yes, said the girl, and he is a great coward too. She's really nice to him, isn't she? So that he will be more afraid of you than you are of him. Next one.
Very good Watto, I think.
Thank you.
Jeremy Irons' Scar. I like this one.
I can hear that you like it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I do. Well, said the woman, after thinking it over and taking another peep at the lion, if that is the case, you may come in, and I will give you some supper and a place to sleep. Yeah, Scar is judging a lion. Interesting. So they all entered the house, where they were, besides the woman, 2 children and a man. The man had hurt his leg, and was lying on the couch in the corner. They seemed greatly surprised to see so strange a company, and while the woman was busy laying the table, the man asked, "Where are all of you going?" "To the Emerald City," said Dorothy, "to see the great Oz." "Oh, indeed," exclaimed the man. "And are you sure that Oz will see you?" "Why not?" she replied. Next.
Next is a Dalek.
Why, it is said that he never lets anyone come into his presence. I have been to the Emerald City many times, and it is a beautiful and wonderful place, but I have never been permitted to see the great Oz, nor do I know of any living person who has seen him. you go.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Now for something really random. Ronald Reagan.
Does he never go out? Asked the Scarecrow. Never. He sits day after day in the great throne room of his palace, and even those who wait upon him do not see him face to face. What is he like? Asked the girl. That is hard to tell, Mommy, said the man thoughtfully.
Sounds so weird in Ronald Reagan's voice saying the word mommy.
You see, Oz is a great wizard and can take on any form he wishes. So that some say he looks like a bird, and some say he looks like an elephant, and some say he looks like a cat. To others, he appears as a beautiful fairy, or a brownie, or in any other form that pleases him. Okay, I know that they're talking about the weird little sprite creatures like what we see in Willow, but I'm just imagining the Wizard of Oz talking to this little pastry. I am Oz, the great and powerful. Who are you? Next.
Magneto.
Pass.
Violator from Spawn. I don't know what that is.
Ooh, I know what that is, but I've never heard him speak. Pass.
Okay. Prince Don John from Tentacolino.
Don Juan from Tentacolino. That is very strange, said Dorothy, but we must try in some way to see him, or we shall have made our journey for nothing. Why do you wish to see the terrible Oz? Asked the man. I want him to give me some brains, said the Scarecrow eagerly. Oh, Oz could do that easily enough, declared the man. He has more brains than he needs. Someone just gonna scoop out his own brains and plop them in the Scarecrow's head? Ew. Next.
Hang on. It is okay. Tim Curry from Long John Silver. As Long John Silver.
Tim Curry as Long John Silver. Let's see.
If you don't know that one, just do a Tim Curry.
I don't know. I can give it a whirl.
Okay.
Let's see. There we are. And I want him to give me a heart, said the Tin Woodman. That will not trouble him, continued the man, for Oz has a large collection of hearts in all shapes and sizes. And I want him to give me courage, said the Cowardly Lion. Oz keeps a great pot of courage in his throne room, said the man. Okay, how do you know that? Which he has covered with a gold plate to keep it from running over. He will be glad to give you some. Next. That wasn't horrible, I think.
It sounded like Tim Curry. Gonzo the Great.
And I want him to send me back to Kansas, said Dorothy. Where's Kansas? Asked the man in surprise. I don't know, replied Dorothy sorrowfully, but it is my home, and I'm sure it's somewhere. Very likely. Well, Oz can do many things, so I suppose he will find Kansas for you. But first you must get it to see him, and that'll be a hard task, for the Great Wizard does not like to see anyone, and he usually has his own way. But what do you want? He continued, speaking to Toto. Toto only wagged his tail, for, strange to say, he could not speak. Next.
Tiny Tiger?
The woman now called to them that supper was
That's
ready.
Tiny Tiger?
This is Tiny Tiger. He is a bad guy from Crash Bandicoot.
Okay.
So, there we go.
Let's see. Where was I? Yes.
So they gathered around the table, and Dorothy ate some delicious porridge and a dish of scrambled eggs and a plate of nice white bread, and enjoyed her meal. The lion ate some of the porridge, but did not care for it, saying it was made from oats, and oats were food for horses, not lions. The Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman ate nothing at all. Toto ate a little of everything, and was glad to get a good supper again. Next voice, please.
Snowden the Snowman.
Oh, Lord. Guess having Herbert the Pervert wasn't enough. The snowman now gave Dorothy a bed. The snowman. Ugh. The woman. I can't read today. Thank you. The woman now gave Dorothy a bed to sleep in, and it was made of waffles for some reason, but they called it marshmallows. And Toto lay down beside her, while the lion guarded the door of her room so she might not be disturbed. The Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman stood up in a corner and kept quiet all night, although, of course, they could not sleep. The next... So there they were, just staring at her all night. Yeah, perfect.
That's creepy.
Right? The next morning, as soon as the sun came up, they started on their way, and soon saw a beautiful green glow in the sky just before them. That must be the Emerald City, said Dorothy. Next.
Finn McMissile?
Should I do that if I already did Michael Caine?
Uh,
Yeah, I'll do it again for a bit.
Okay.
As they walked on, the green glow became brighter and brighter, and it seemed that at last they were nearing the end of their travels. Yet it was afternoon before they came to the great wall that surrounded the city. It was high and thick and of a bright green color. In front of them, at the ends of the road of yellow brick, was a big gate, all studded with emeralds that glittered so in the sun that even the painted eyes of the Scarecrow were dazzled by their brilliancy. Next.
Raven, thank you for your donation pledge tip, I guess.
Yes, there you go.
And Raven would like your best Tigger or Eeyore. Apparently, it is your choice unless you want to do both.
Let's see. There was a bell beside the gate, and Dorothy pushed the button and heard a silvery tinkle sound within. I do love tinkly sounds. Then the big gate swung slowly open, and they all passed through and found themselves in a high-arched room, the walls of which glistened with countless emeralds. Hooray. Next.
Tom Jackson has a sponsored request. Lord Rogers from Swan Princess.
Lord Rogers from Swan Princess.
I don't remember who that is.
He was supposed to be nothing but Derek's manservant, but then through the course of the movies they turned him into frickin' Einstein, and he's like super in love with Uberta, except for that one movie where he wasn't. He was all about that other chick, I don't know. And then he somehow talked his way out of being eaten alive by turning a primitive tribe of monsters into a cooking reality show, because of course he would! Just, what are you doing? Just...
Can you do the voice?
Maybe. I will give it a try. Before them stood a little man about the same size as the Munchkins. He was clothed all in green from his head to his feet, and even his skin was of a greenish tint. At his side was a large green box. When he saw Dorothy and her companions, the man asked, "What do you wish in the Emerald City?" "We came here to see the Great Oz," said Dorothy. The man was so surprised at this answer that he sat down to think it over. "It has been many years since anyone asked to see Oz," he said, shaking his head in perplexity. "He is powerful and terrible, and if you shall come on an idle or foolish errand to bother the wise reflections of the great wizard, he might be angry and destroy all of you in an instant." I think that worked.
Grace Stark says that's a great Lord Rogers.
Thank you.
Are you familiar with anything from any of the voices from Banana Splits?
I am not. Pass.
Okay. And the only people that do Donald Duck and Daffy Duck are the voice actors. So we're not going to do those.
I am sorry. Donald Duck is beyond my capacity.
Donald Duck is a specialty item, so don't feel bad about that.
Yes.
Can't imagine that's very difficult to do. I can't imagine that's very easy to do.
No. There is someone who does a very good Donald Duck on Robot Chicken. No idea how he does it, because nobody else can do Donald Duck except the original. But what else we got?
Puffin?
Why did you name him Puffin of all things? Come on, movie.
Who is Puffin?
Puffin is Puffin. He is the Puffin from The Swan Princess.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
Yeah, you don't remember him because he has no character. He's just whatever the movie wants him to be at the time. But it is not a foolish errand, nor an idle one, replied the Scarecrow. It is important, and we have been told that Oz is a good wizard. So he is, said the Green Man, and he rules the Emerald City wisely and well. But to those who are not honest, or who approach him from curiosity, he is most terrible. And the few who ever asked to few have ever dared ask to see his face. I am the guardian of the gates, and since you demand to see the Great Oz, I must take you to his palace. But first you must put on the spectacles. Why? Asked Dorothy. Next.
Droopy.
Because if you did not wear spectacles, the brightness and glory of the Emerald City would blind you. And that would make me very mad. Even those who live in the city must wear spectacles day and night. They are all locked on, for Oz so ordered it when the city was first built, and I have the only key that will unlock them. Okay, don't remember that little detail. That the green glasses are locked onto the wearer's heads. Can't even take them off when they're showering or anything. That's kind of messed up. Next.
Next voice is Gollum.
He opens the boxes, and Dorothy saw that it was filled with spectacles of every shapes and sizes. All of them had green glasses in them. The guardians of the gates found a pair that would fit Dorothy's and put them over her eyes. There were 2 golden bands fastened to them and passed around the back of her head, where they were locked together by a little key that was at the end of the chain of the guardian's gates worn around his neck. When they were on, Dorothy's could not shake them off as she wished, but of course she did not wish to be blinded by the glow of the Emerald Cities, so she did nothing. Stupid Kansas girl!
And the final voice for this chapter?
Is Curly Howard?
Pass.
I don't know who that is.
I believe that's Curly Howard's name.
Oh, here's a good one. Bobby Wobbly.
Of course.
Oh, he doesn't know Steven Universe, guys.
I don't know Steven Universe, sorry. Just need to take a quick little nip after doing Gollum. Then the Green Man fitted spectacles for the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman and the Lion, and even little Toto, and all were locked fast with the key. Then the guardian of the gates put on his own glasses and told them he was ready to show them to the palace. Taking a big golden key from a peg on the wall, he opened another gate, and they all followed him through the portal into the streets of the Emerald City. Do you like bubbles?
Yes, I like Bubbles. Tom Jackson just asked the same thing. I like Bubbles. Yes.
All right. So we have just finished chapters 8, 9, and 10 of The Wizard of Oz.
Shall we move on to the other book?
I was going to say, do we want to continue with Oz, or shall we move on to some more of Grimm like we did last time?
Let's move on to some Grimm. We've got about 40 minutes that I think you should do, and that'll put you at 2 hours of voices.
Very good. wrap this up at 12:30.
Ish, yeah.
Yes, and then we have another stream to prepare for at 4 o'clock, don't we?
Yeah, he has to rest his voice for a little while, guys.
Oh, my audience, they are so demanding. Let's see. Do we want to start with a more well-known story or something more obscure?
What are our options?
Ooh, we got a lot. We have... Let's see. We have over 700 pages of book here, and each story lasts, like, I don't know, 10 pages tops. Let's see. Let's look for something more familiar. What do we got?
I don't know, the obscure ones are fun. Do you have bearskin?
Bearskin. Bearskin. Looking for bearskin. Would it be called just bearskin or the bearskin?
I don't know.
Because we have a whole lot of those in this table of contents. I'm just looking for bees. Bearskin, bearskin, bearskin. I think we did the Raven last time.
I think so too. He's looking in the appendix where it's in alphabetical order.
Sorry?
Sabrina, who suggested bearskin, says that she thinks it's near the end. And I said that he's looking at the appendix, which is in alphabetical order.
Actually, I'm looking at the table of contents, which is in just numerical order. But there doesn't seem to be any pattern to the arrangement of these stories.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, but I cannot...
There's no appendix?
Maybe there's an appendix. I will look there. You said that's in alphabetical order?
If there's an appendix, it will be.
There is no appendix.
That's dumb.
And I cannot find it anything bearskin related, so let's look on.
How about The True Bride?
The True Bride. There's The Hare's Bride. True Bride. So many stories. The True Sweetheart.
Elizabeth said that the book had its appendix removed. But don't bunch.
Oh, that flew over my head. I'm sorry.
Chris, he doesn't know wrestlers. He has a couple of wrestlers that he could do.
Sorry.
And we're not doing Chris Benoit anyway.
Who was that?
He killed his family.
Oh.
Yeah. Mental health issues, but still.
Yeah, let us not do that. I cannot find The True
Oh, it
Bride.
is The True Sweetheart. The Jim Henson version was called The True Bride.
Oh. The Jim Henson version. What was that on?
What was the Jim Henson version? Where did you see that, Elizabeth?
Page 216.
I will let you know. If and when she answers.
Okay, so we are starting with The True Sweetheart.
Yes. And after the stream, we need to make a note of what you've read
Yes. Yes.
on your list so that you don't have to reestablish it every time.
Indeed.
Okay.
Okay, so starting
Jim
with...
Henson's The Storyteller with John Hurt is where she saw The True Bride.
Very good.
Okay. Are you ready
I'm ready.
for the next voice?
Yes.
George Lucas?
There was once on a time a girl who was young and beautiful, but she had lost her mother when she was quite a child, and her stepmother did all she could to make the girl's life wretched. Of course they do. Whenever this woman gave her anything to do, she worked at it indefatigably. Indefatigably?
What?
Indefatigably. And did everything that lay in her power. She could not touch the heart of the wicked woman by that. She was never satisfied. It was never enough. The harder the girl worked, the more work was put upon her, and all that the woman thought of was how to weigh her down and with still heavier burdens and make her life still more miserable. There we go. Next.
Bumblebee Man?
One day she said to her, "Here are 12 pounds of feathers which thou must pick, and if they are not done this evening, thou mayst expect a good beating." Ye Old English spoken in a heavy Mexican accent. There you go. Dost thou imagine thou art to idle away the whole day? The poor girl sat down to the work, but tears ran down her cheeks as she did so, for she saw plainly enough that it was quite impossible to finish the work in one day. Ay, ay, ay! Next.
Fozzie Bear.
Whenever she had a little heap of feathers lying before her, and she sighed or smote her hands together in her anguish, they flew away, and she had to pick them out again, and began her work anew. And then she put her elbows on the table, and laid her face down in her two hands, and cried, "There is no more then on God's earth is there no one then on God's earth to have pity on me?" My Fozzie sucks, I'm sorry.
I don't think your Fozzie sucks. It's not your best Muppet.
Next.
Starscream.
Thank you, phone, for notifying me that there's stuff to watch on Pluto TV. I know, trust me. Then she had a low voice which said, "Be comforted, my child. I have come to help thee." The maiden looked up, and an old woman was by her side. She took the girl kindly by the hand and said, "Only tell me what is troubling thee." As she spoke so kindly, the girl told of her miserable life, and how one burden after another was laid upon her, and she never could get to the end of the work which was given to her. If I have not done these feathers by this evening, my stepmother will beat me. She has threatened she will, and I know she keeps her word." Her tears began to flow again, but the good old woman said, "Do not be afraid, my child. Rest a while, and in the meantime I will look to thy work." The girl lay down on her bed and soon fell asleep. Yes, starring Starscream as the fairy godmother. Bibbidi bobbidi boo!
How about Clint Eastwood?
Clint Eastwood reading fairy tales. I love it. The old woman seated herself on the table with the feathers, and how they did fly off the quills, which she scarcely touched with her fingered hands. The 12 pounds were soon finished, and when the girl awoke, great snow-white heaps were lying piled up, and everything in the room was neatly cleared away. But the old woman had vanished. The maiden thanked God, and sat still till evening came, when the stepmother came in and marveled at the work completed. "Just look, you awkward creature," she said. What can be done when people see our industrious? And why couldst thou had not said about something else? There thou sittest with thy hands crossed." When she went down and said, "The creature is still worth more than her salt. I must give her some work that is still harder." Punk.
Very good.
Do I feel lucky?
And now for some whiplash. Kermit.
Next morning, she called to the girl and said, "There is a spoon for thee, which with that thou must empty out for me the great pond which is beside the garden, and if it is not done by night, thou knowest what will happen." Really, lady? You want her to empty a pond with a spoon? That's just busy work. Come on. The girl took the spoon and saw that it was full of holes, but even if it had not been, she never could have emptied the pond with it. She set to work at once, knelt down by the water, into which her tears were falling. Oh yeah, that helps. And when she learned the cause of her grief... I'm sorry, I missed a spot. Into which her tears were falling, and began to empty it. But the good old woman appeared again, and when she learned the cause of her grief, she said, "Be of good cheer, my child. Go into the thicket and lie down and sleep. I will soon do thy work." Next.
Oops, you caught me chewing. Charles Muntz.
It is about lunchtime, isn't it?
My stomach was growling. I didn't want it to be heard on stream.
Sorry, it's okay. Charles Muntz, pass.
Blackadder.
As soon as the old woman arose, as soon as the old woman was alone, she barely touched the pond, and a vapor rose up high from the water and mingled itself with the clouds. Gradually the pond was emptied, and when the maiden awoke before sunset and came thither, she saw nothing but the fishes which were struggling in the mud. She went to her stepmother and showed her the work that she had done. "I thought to have been done long before this," she said, and grew white with anger, but she meditated something new. Wonderful. Next.
Puss in Boots, William Shatner.
On the third morning, she said to the girl, "Thou must build me a castle on the plain there, and it must be ready by the evening." The maiden was dismayed and said, "How can I complete such great work? I will endure no opposition," screamed the stepmother. "Well, if thou canst empty a pond with a spoon that's full of holes, thou canst build a castle too."
Yeah, because that's the same thing, isn't it?
Wow.
"I will take possession of this very day, and if anything is wanting, even if the most trifling thing in the kitchen or cellar, thou knowest what lies before thee."
Next.
Scrooge McDuck.
Oh dear.
And Grace says you nailed Puss in Boots.
Thank you. She drove the girl out, and when she entered the valley, the rocks were there, piled up one above the other, and all her strength would not have enabled her to even move the very slightest of them. She sat down and wept, and still she hoped the old woman would help her. The old woman was not long in coming. She comforted her and said, "Lie down there in the shade and sleep, and I will soon build the castle for thee. If it would be a pleasure to thee, thou canst live in it thyself." That was awful. Next.
I didn't think it was awful. Here's one you're very good at.
Oh dear.
And a personal favorite. You should probably save it. Yeah, there's another suggestion on here that go ahead and do Bobcat Goldthwait first. Blech. Ugh.
I love you.
The maiden got away.
Oh. Oh, God.
It's a punch in the gut every time. I love it.
Into my brain.
The woman touched the gray rocks. They began to rise and immediately moved together as if giants had built the walls. And on these the building arose, and it seemed upon it countless hands were working invisibly, and placing one stone upon another.
Oh, God, please make this a short one.
Oh no, these paragraphs are all pretty long.
You don't have to do the whole
Look at
paragraph.
it.
We've talked about this.
Look at it!
No. I will leave you on your own. I will divorce your ass right here. Make it short or I'm outie.
I love you.
Prove it.
Okay, next one.
Next voice is Mark Hamill's the Joker. Give it to me, baby. No, we're not married, which would mean if I divorced him, that would be really bad.
That'd be a first. There was a dull, heavy noise from the ground. Pillars arose of their own accord on high, and placed themselves in order near each other. The tiles laid themselves in order on the roof, and when noonday came, the great weathercock oh my, was already turning itself on the summit of the tower, like a golden figure of the Virgin with fluttering garments. The inside of the castle was being finished, while evening was drawing near. How the old woman managed it, I know not, but the walls of the rooms were hung with silk and velvet, embroidered chairs were there, and richly ornamented armchairs by marble tables. Crystal chandeliers hung down from the ceilings, and mirrored themselves on the smooth pavement. Green parrots were in gilt cages, and so were strange birds which sang most beautifully, and there was on all sides as much magnificence as if a king were going to live there.
I feel so much better.
You're welcome.
But you really do need to do less in each voice so that you can get through more voices. Okay, we have a sponsored post from 9 the Middleman 9. Can you do a Kath Susi character? Your choice.
I cannot. I'm sorry. What's another one that you would suggest for me?
Yeah, pick any other voice you want done. If he can do it, he'll do it. For your sponsored post. In the meantime, just ignore them. Not your dogs. Can we focus?
Oh yes, we are focusing. I'm suddenly
Okay.
focusing on how heavy this book is.
Robert,
Yes.
happy.
Oh,
Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Oh, very happy.
No. No.
We're all so happy. Next.
Raven doesn't do voice impressions.
And she can't read this anyway.
Okay, next is Morpheus from The Matrix.
Morpheus. I'm sorry. Who was the person to sponsor a post last?
He hasn't answered yet
So we're waiting on him. Okay.
for an alternative voice. The Middleman.
Sorry, the middleman. I cannot do Cat Sassy. But Morpheus. Let's see.
Yeah, that's from a long ago suggestion.
The sun was just setting when the girl awoke, and the brightness of 1,000 lights flashed in her face. She hurried to the castle and entered by the door. The steps were spread with red cloth, and the golden balustrade beset with flowering trees. When she saw the splendor of the apartment, she stood as if turned to stone. Who knows how long she might have stood there if she had not remembered the stepmother. Alas, she said to herself, if she could be satisfied at last, and would give up making my life a misery to me. The girl went and told her that the castle was ready. I will move into it at once, she said, and rose from her seat. Of course, no one can be told what a magical castle is.
We have an answer from the Middleman.
Yes.
The prince from Romeo and Juliet Sealed with a Kiss.
Yes, the prince from Romeo and Juliet Sealed with a Kiss, who, I would like to point out, I currently know is an elephant seal. I didn't
sure
know
you
it
know
at
that?
the time, but thanks to my many many fans who have commented on that video, I now know that he is an elephant seal. Thank you for telling me that he's an elephant seal. Can we please now shut up about how he's an elephant seal? Moving on.
Moving on. You do the prince. I will be back in 2 seconds while you're doing the prince. But hopefully by the time you're done.
Where was I? Ah, yes.
When they entered the castle, she was forced to hold her hand before her eyes. The brilliancy of everything was so dazzling. "Thou seest," said she to the girl, "how easy it has been for thee to do this. I thought to have given thee something harder." She went through all the rooms and examined every corner to see if anything was wanting or defective, but she could discover nothing. "Now we shall go down below," said she, looking at the girl with malicious eyes. "The kitchen and the cellar still have to be examined, and if thou hast forgotten anything, thou shalt not escape thy punishment."
That was the prince?
That was the prince.
Good grief.
You don't remember the prince.
No. You did that before we got together.
I did, but I thought I would have shown it to you. No?
I don't remember. When have I had time to watch old reviews? I haven't seen that many of your stuff before I started helping you.
That's true. Oh, we met over Starship Troopers.
Yep.
You thought that was the worst movie you ever saw.
I was so naive then.
That's adorable. That was the worst movie that you ever saw, and then Maleficent happened. Oh!
Click.
Slap my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Slap my
Smack. Yes, he and I were pen pals for a bit, and I think he was trying to impress me, because I told him that I watched some of his YouTube stuff, and he asked me what was the worst movie I'd ever seen that I wanted him to review, so he reviewed Starship Troopers for me. Because I can't stand Starship Troopers. Come at me, bro. I will fight you on this. It is horrible.
I don't think anyone's gonna come at you at how it's not particularly good.
It has its following.
Yes, but even they're aware of what it is, I think.
So below Neil Patrick Harris. So far below his talent.
I don't think he was anybody yet at that point. Everybody has those movies.
Wasn't he born somebody? I mean, he was in Doogie Howser when he was a itty bitty.
Okay, Doogie Howser was a thing, yes. But was Neil Patrick Harris a thing? I don't know.
Yes, he played Doogie Howser. He was well known by that point.
But you know what I mean. Was he a name yet?
Doogie Howser made him a name.
Okay.
You know nothing.
I know nothing. I know nothing! What we got next?
Okay. So our next voice is Joker, as done by Kevin Michael Richardson.
Let's see, where was I? Ah, yes. Oh, hello, Seltzer.
Oh, sorry. Almost done. Okay. Pardon me. Should have muted.
Quite alright. This big glare on my shoulder. That's weird.
Lens flare.
Yes, J.J. Abrams.
Yes, Tom, I was peeing, and that's why I fizzed.
Oh. I know that everybody's seeing a doctor right now, but I think you should go see someone.
I think so, maybe. No. I don't drink soda, I only drink seltzer.
And she doesn't... she doesn't only drink seltzer, she also pees it.
Apparently. That's how that works.
Kevin Michael Richardson's Joker.
Yes.
But the fire was burning on the hearth, and the meat was cooking in the pans. And the tongs and the shovel were leaning against the wall, and the shining brazen utensils all arranged in sight. Nothing was wanting, not even a coal box and water pail. Which is the way to the cellar, she cried. If not that abundantly filled, it shall go ill with thee. She herself raised up into the trapdoor and descended, but she had hardly made 2 steps before the heavy trapdoor, which was only laid back, fell down. The girl heard a scream, lifted up the door very quickly to go to her aid, but she had fallen down, and the girl found her lying lifeless at the bottom. Now that's funny!
Okay, so while you were doing that voice, we were having a conversation, and I am moving this to the top of the list because apparently I made everyone have to pee by talking about having to pee. So
Oh, no.
now you have to do
No.
Brent.
I hate all of you.
There was a little stream.
And the river flowed and flowed into a giant lake. Why is there a pee-pee song?
Clearly you have never potty trained a child. You will sing, you will dance, you will do whatever, you will have visual aids, whatever you need to do to convince them to pee when they're sitting on the potty.
It's a bear! It
But it was
doesn't have
representing a little boy, and I can tell you from my little boy, they take forever to potty train.
I'm pretty sure that bear is just crap in the woods. Isn't that why that's an expression? You just go.
All I had to do to potty train my oldest was to get her cute panties, and she didn't want to get them messy.
That's fine.
I got my son cute underwear. He did not care.
That's fine.
No, it wasn't.
Do whatever you have to do to potty train your little humans. It's a bear. I don't think he cares about where he goes. Why did he care?
So that we had the opportunity to have the song.
No! We don't want the song! If you're a fan of these movies, you want this little moment between Kate and Humphrey. You want them to relive that romantic moment from the first movie on the train. You want to see them finally bone, for some reason. That's on your repertoire of things to see before you die! It looks like it might just happen again, and then here comes Brent. I have to pee.
We have got to talk about your bucket list.
Hey, that's not my bucket list, that's theirs. No! And why is there a song? Just stick his ass out the window and go! If you even have to do that, just go in the corner! You're an animal, what do you care?
Spoken like a true boy.
Yeah?
They really don't care.
I'm sorry, am I supposed to apologize for my penis?
No. But God, you guys are hard to train to use it. And then once you discover it, you will never leave it alone.
Thank you! You get it! Anyway.
Okay.
Speaking of, and pee.
No. Okay, quick funny story. My son, who is a teenager now,
Oh dear.
when he was quite young, like young, maybe 12 or 13, so he was right on that tween-teen cusp, he asked me why he saw so many old bald men driving sports cars. And since I am a very honest mother, I said, a lot of them are going through a midlife crisis, or they're compensating for having an inadequate penis. I was being snarky. So he thought about this for a moment, and then he said, I I'm gonna drive. I'm gonna drive. What did he say? He was gonna be driving like some stupid little hybrid car or Prius or something like that because he had seen Jeff Dunham do about the Prius
Yes.
thing at that point. And he said, "Yeah, I'm just gonna drive a Prius." He says, and then all of my girlfriends can pretend that it's this long, slow semi. And I'm like, oh god. So apparently my son has no insecurities about such things, for which I'm grateful. But yeah, so he says he doesn't need to drive a sports car. He's going to drive a Prius.
And incidentally, we did not have to rent a car at all while Raven was down here visiting me this last August. She was quite happy while we were all driving in my very tiny sedan.
That's right. Which
Very accommodating.
it was quite. The car was great. The traffic was terrible. But anyway, that's a different story. And no, that's not an embarrassing story. He will tell you himself. He is quite proud of having come up with that all on his own. My son, that is. I'm sure Rob is quite proud too. Okay, anyway. Carry on. You're doing the voice of...
Now, how to work that whole traffic thing into the euphemism. Oh yeah, check out my car. It's tiny.
Carry on. Do Brent.
And it works well in traffic, too. No idea what that means. Okay, doing Brent. Ugh, I hate you all. And now the magnificent castle belonged to the girl alone. She at first did not know how to reconcile herself to her good fortune. Beautiful dresses were hanging in the wardrobes, so she peed on them. And chests were filled with gold or silver, or with pearls or jewels, and she never felt a desire that she was not able to gratify. And soon the fame of the beauty and riches of the maiden went all over the world. Wooers presented themselves daily, but none pleased her. Do you tweet? Next.
Oh, that's his favorite Alpha and Omega character.
Oh, I love him so much. It's a
Next
toss-up
is-
between him and Stinky.
That's on the list. I don't know if we'll get to him, but we got him on the list.
Oh, God.
The next is Doug from Up.
At length, the son of the king came, and he knew how to touch her heart. He knew how to touch her heart because he loves her. And she betrothed herself to him. In the garden of the castle there was a lime tree, under which they were one day sitting together, and he said to her, "I will go home and obtain my father's consent to our marriage because I love you." This really was the perfect voice for this character.
Doug is awesome.
Yes, he is. "I entreat thee to wait for me here under this lime tree, or under my porch, I don't know. I shall be back with thee in a few hours." The maiden kissed him on his left cheek and said, "Keep true to me, and never let anyone else kiss thee on this cheek. I will wait here under the lime tree until thou returnest." Squirrel!
Tom Jackson said that at the same time that you wrote that at the same time you did it. Or at least when I heard you. Okay. Jafar from Aladdin.
The maid stayed beneath the lime tree until sunset, but he did not return. She sat 3 days from morning till evening, waiting for him, but in vain. As he still was not there by the 4th day, she said, "Some accident has assuredly befallen him."
What is that?
Oh, that rumbling noise?
Uh-huh.
That is my landlord tinkering away with his motorbike.
Sorry, guys.
Because he has to do something to pass the time, since he cannot work. Schools are closed. So, yeah.
What is your mom doing?
She is probably either babysitting my nephew, who lives with his mother at home, or she is laying around catching up on Doctor Who, maybe? I don't know.
Oh my god, I love Jodie Whittaker. She's so awesome. I finally got past the Capaldi episodes.
Ah, nice.
Yes.
Capaldi is the old man we don't like.
Yes, and I actually did come to enjoy Capaldi's later episodes much more. I know I don't like him as the doctor, but I hated him a lot less by the end. It's the better writers, I believe.
I was gonna say the outcry against him was pretty universal, wasn't it?
Some people like him. He's a good actor.
But his
He just had
characterization
crappy
was wrong.
material to work with.
Oh, it was the material that wasn't working. Oh.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
good for you, writers. You saw that you had made a mistake, and
No, the writer, I believe it was Stephen Moffat, and he left.
Well, either way, they saw that the error was in the writing, and they fixed it. Good for you guys. And now we were on the controversial Lady Doctor.
Yes.
Again, not a
She's
Whovian,
awesome. I love her.
Not a Whovian. I only have a secondhand knowledge of Doctor Who. But having a woman suddenly play the Doctor sounds like it would make sense. They're not replacing the character like you often see with gender-bent roles like that. It's just the Doctor taking on a new form, right?
Right. And they already had the Master be regenerated as a woman, Missy. So it was far from
Don't know who that is, but
unheard
okay,
of.
if it's not unprecedented, then there you go. Don't see what's so weird about this, but not a fan, so maybe I just don't know.
I don't know why I date him, guys. Really, I don't.
Oh, you know.
No Harry Potter. No Doctor Who. Not big on Star Trek.
But then when the cameras aren't rolling, you know exactly why you're dating me. Savvy?
Yes, and it has nothing to do with voices that you do impressions of. It's all you, baby.
All me and then some. Next voice.
Oh, are we done with that? Okay. Rocco from The Wallaby?
Pass.
Okay. There's that. Cookie Monster.
Let's see, where was I? Ah, yes.
I will go out and seek him.
Sorry, I'm saying this in the wrong personage here.
Me will go out and seek him, and will not come back until me have found him. She packed up 3 of her most beautiful cookies, the embroidered one with bright stars, the second one with silver moons, and the third with golden suns, and tied up a handful of jewels in her handkerchief, and set out. She inquired everywhere for her betrothed, but no one had seen him. No one knew anything about him. Far and wide did she wander through the world, but she found him not. At last she hired herself to a farmer as a cowherd, and buried her dresses and jewels beneath a stone.
Wow, tough gig. Next.
Oh, well, we might as well get this in.
Yes.
Blah. Blah. I can't even say it. Blah. I can't say it.
Yes, you can. Who is it?
It's
It's her.
Trump. Blah.
This is your fault, you understand, right?
Blah.
It's that. That's what they want to hear. And now she lived as a herdswoman.
Oh, God. It's an assault on my eardrums. Get over with.
guarded her herd and was very sad and full of longing for her beloved one. She had heard a little calf which she taught to know her and fed it out of her own hand. And when she said, little calf, kneel by my side, and do not forget thy shepherd maid, as the prince forgot his betrothed bride, who waited for him neath the lime tree's shade. And the little calf knelt down, and she stroked it.
Oh, God, no, stop, please. That's enough.
And she made herdswomaning so great. You're gonna get tired of how great she's making it.
Oh, God. Please.
Okay,
save
I'm stopping
me.
now.
I need Captain Jack Sparrow. Prove it! Oh, God, my ears are bleeding. I'm nauseous.
And when she had lived for a couple more years alone and full of grief, a report was spread all over the land that the king's daughter was about to celebrate her marriage. The road to the town passed through the village where the maiden was living, and it came to pass that once the maiden was driving out her herd, her bridegroom travelled by. He was sitting proudly on his horse, and never looked around, but when she saw him, she recognized her beloved, and it was just as if a sharp knife had pierced her heart. Alas, said she, I believe him true to me, but he has forgotten me. Savvy? Don't I love you?
You love me.
I love you.
Okay. Oh.
Swoon.
Let's see. Can we have Boris Karloff, please?
Yes, we can. Next day he again came along the road. When he was near her, she said to the little calf, little calf, kneel by my side, and do not forget thy shepherd maid, as the prince forgot his betrothed bride, who waited for him neath the lime tree's shade. When he was aware of the voice, he looked down and reined in his horse. He looked into the herd's face, and then he put his hand before his eyes as if he were trying to remember something. But he soon rode onwards, and was out of sight. Alas, said she, he no longer knows me, and her grief was ever greater. Next.
Very good.
Thank you.
Next is the prosecutor from Ichabod and Mr. Toad. I don't know who that is.
I only just recently rediscovered that movie, so this might have gone over my head, if not for only just having seen it recently.
Huh.
Soon after, this is a great festival 3 days long, and was to be held at the king's court, and the whole country was invited to it. Now I will try my last chance, thought the maiden, and when evening came, she went to the stone under which she had buried her treasures. She took out the dress with the golden suns, put it on, and adorned herself with the jewels. She let down her hair, which she had concealed under a handkerchief, and it fell down in long curls about her. And thus she went into the town, and in the darkness was observed by no one. Any further questions? That will be all!
Very good.
Thank you.
Christopher Walken.
When she entered the brightly lighted hall, everyone stared back in amazement, but no one knew who she was. The king's son went to her, but he did not recognize her. He led her out to dance, and was so enchanted with her beauty that he thought no more of the other bride. When the feast was over, she vanished in the crowd, and hastened before daybreak to the village, where she once more put on her cowbell. Wow. Next.
Armpit from Kiara the Brave.
Pass.
Okay. Sideshow Bob.
Armpit? Why did you name him Armpit? Sideshow Bob. Next evening, she took out the dress with the silver moons and put the half moon made of precious stones in her hair. When she appeared at the festival, all eyes were turned upon her, but the king's son hastened to meet her, and filled with love for her, danced with her alone, and no longer so much as glanced at anyone else. Before she went away, she was forced to promise him once again to come to the festival on the last evening. Gotta have the evil Sideshow Bob laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Next.
Mojo Jojo.
Pass.
Stinky from Alpha and Omega. We actually did make it.
Ugh. I hate you.
When she appeared for the third time, she wore the star dress which sparkled at every step she took, and her hair ribbon and girdle were starred with jewels. The prince had already been waiting for her for a long time, and forced his way up to her. "Do but tell who thou art," he said. "I feel just as if I had already known thee a long time. Dost thou not know that I am the future leader of the pack? And may I offer some parenting tips?"
No, you may not! Smack.
"Dost thou not know what I did when thou leftest me?" Then she stepped up to him and kissed him on his left cheek, and in a moment it was as if scales fell from his eyes, and he recognized the true bride. "Come," he said to her, Here I stay no longer," gave her his hand, and led her down to the carriage. The horses hurried away to the magic castle, as if the wind had been harnessed to the carriage. The illuminated windows already shone in the distance.
And the last voice for this story?
The last voice of the stream, too.
Oh, are we just about at that time?
It's 12:39.
Oh dear, we're a little bit past that.
Yeah, well, I told a story about my son's
Yes.
confidence.
Yes, your son's confidence, let's call it that.
Let us end with the Crypt Keeper.
When they drove past the
Oh,
lime
your
trees...
mom's in the stream.
Oh, hello, Mom.
She just said Mom Show loves Bobsheaux.
Mom Show, I forgot about that.
When they drove past the lime tree, countless glowworms were swarming about it. It shook its branches and sent forth their fragrance. On the steps, flowers were blooming, and the room echoed with the song of strange birds. But in the hall, the entire court was assembled, and the priest was waiting to marry the bridegroom to the true bride. Or should I say, he was about to marry the bride's doom?
That was a really good Crypt Keeper.
Thank you.
And we are calling it at that.
Yes.
So, did we all have fun? Whoa. This is weird. Check it out. The book is hovering
wait a
in
minute.
midair. Whoa!
It didn't come through, Elizabeth.
What didn't come through?
Elizabeth said she sponsored a post for Jareth, but it didn't come through.
Oh dear. Will Elizabeth be joining us for the next stream in a couple hours? Give her some time to answer and for the stream to catch up to her?
Yeah. And your mom requested Nana. The next
my
voice should
God.
be Nana.
Are you going to be for the next stream too, Mom Show? I hate how there's so much lag.
I know.
Now that I'm not reading, I can look at the stream myself.
Elizabeth says I paid $2 and I have COVID-19.
Oh dear. Seriously?
Oh man. It didn't show up. The pledge didn't show up for some reason.
I am sorry. I am sorry.
And Elizabeth says, of course, she's quarantined. She will be at the next live stream, so we'll try to get Jareth in. If you want to check why the sponsorship didn't come through, you want to responsor, we'll definitely get it in. But
Yes.
we'll try to get it in one way or the other.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yes. For the next stream, we are starting out with Jareth and my dear sweet Nana, who always gave, or not always, but gave me this very good piece of advice before she shuffled off this mortal coil. Things can always be worse. And she said that while dying of pancreatic cancer, so yeah, you think I'm an optimist? She had it going on.
She sounded like she was a really cool lady.
She was. She really was. But yes, it is time for us to call it quits because I need to rest my pipes for a bit. But be sure to check out our next live stream in about 3 hours. That's 4 o'clock Pacific time. And yeah, be sure to have lots of suggestions for us. And again, I don't do wrestlers, I don't do anime, I don't do Steven Universe, but there is plenty that I do. So, you know, lay it on.
No Channel Awesome, no Spongebob.
SpongeBob has to die. I'm sorry that everyone else loves him, but I can't. I'm sorry. Just no. And until then, I am donning the guise of the Trash Panda.
And I will see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.